Somehow I got caught up with a friend over WhatsApp, both of us trying to do our best Donald Duck impressions, and it's not easy.
Oh,
it's not easy to do.
No, I can't do it.
It's not hard, though.
It's there's a lot of back of the throat
I had to
wetness.
close my nose and Yeah.
Now I would be very impressed if you guys could do a Daffy Duck. That would like blow my mind.
I can't hear that.
Really good.
Insufferable.
Insufferable.
No, it's lower than that, though.
Insufferable. I can't do impressions.
I
can't do impressions either.
Sucker and succotash.
Oh, that's the one. I just know he has like a lisp, but it's not a full, it's more of like an elongated S kind of thing.
I know. It's so much more ineffable.
In 1996, Scholastic began publishing Animorphs. Over the next 6 years, Catherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, under the pseudonym K.A. Applegate, produced 54 main series books, several spin-offs, and inspired a TV series, graphic novels, and a cult following. We can't tell you where we live. We can't even tell you our last names. But we can tell you our thoughts and feelings on this series, book by book. I'm Miranda.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chris.
And we are the Anidorks.
These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, one thing that Daffy Duck didn't ruin, I don't know how to make this a segue, was book 22.
It ruined it all by itself. No.
How
Well,
would
book 22 is
Daffy
good.
do landing into this ocean, this choppy ocean that we're going to find ourselves in early?
As a water
being a
bird,
duck-
I want to give him points, but I don't know.
I want to give him points too. Yeah. Now, if it were Tweety, I think Tweety would be.
Well,
effed.
Tweety's just a
Totally.
baby.
Tweety would be straight fucked. Yeah.
Tweety's got no
Tweety's
chance
a
in the
baby?
outside
Are
world.
you sure?
Tweety looks like a... No, I think Tweety's just like a
I think
canary,
Tweety's
but
just a
Tweety's like
caged
very
bird.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because who is it who wants to
Maybe
be
a
Tweety?
teenager?
Is it
Sylvester. Yeah.
God, what the hell is wrong with them? Those cartoons are so insane.
Yeah,
Like,
I was talking to a friend about Tom and Jerry recently, and it's like it got really popular in Asia, and there's like a whole Tom and Jerry mobile game. It's like
Wanna
a
know a
gotcha
fun-
game.
Want to know a fun fact?
Sure.
Want to know a fun fact? Paul Simon and
Just
Art
one, though,
Garfunkel's
Chris.
first band name when they were teenagers was Tom and Jerry.
I think I knew that. I think I saw a really unimpressive clip of them on a talk show that you sent me where they're...
I made you guys watch that.
It was just a very boring Tonight Show
It
interview.
was so boring. It was incredible.
Where nobody asked interesting questions and nobody gave interesting answers and no one seemed happy to be there. Like,
What was
but they
this?
kind of were. I don't know. You'll see when you're older. It's like I've been watching a lot of David Letterman to get Marco's character better.
that's
And
fair.
the thing about David Letterman is like the show existed on television at a time when there's like no urgency to make great television. And it's like from before a time of media training. So like
Yeah.
I've been finding these clips of like famous people, like famous musicians who can barely talk, like
Yeah.
Paul Simon. And he's such an eloquent person, but he's so soft and shy. And then he like will construct a thought, but he'll like literally pause to think about what he wants to say. And then he'll say, it's like
That
all
is
these
such
little
the thing. It's like
details
it's
that
the
are-
opposite of the media trained thing where it's like they've been quizzed on what questions they could get 9 ways from Sunday and they know exactly what they're going to say when they get out there and they know what they're going to be asked. So there's not like no surprises. And it's just like he'll ask him a question and then he'll take a good like 5-second pause to think about his answer. And
they were on
sometimes you'll see
TV.
the boom lower into shot because he's really quiet. It's like really funny.
Is it both? Is it more, do you think? And maybe it's just both. Are they less worried about letting go of attention even for a second? Or are people worse at paying attention now? Like, is it just
Well, there's
both?
only
Is it like
two other channels.
No, I think it's just less optimized. I think it's
Yeah.
just like,
But
yeah,
also,
I think
but I
it's-
also do think like the viewer retention, you didn't have to worry as much when like people were going to watch your show or they were going to watch one of the other two shows, and they probably weren't going to change the channel because of a 5-second pause. Like,
But they're also not on their phones at that moment. They're not like they're not
doing anything
three
else,
things
yeah.
at once, So
Yeah.
I will say I have been spoiled by the fact that I can now play all my videos at faster speeds. Like it's destroying my ability to sit through normal human conversations. Like this is killing me.
Yeah, like every time somebody pauses to think about what they're about to say, it just sucks soul out of me.
Do you know,
I'm
Oh my
taking out
God,
my
like-
phone. I'm like,
I don't even know how to do that option. Is it just like, is it on
holier
YouTube?
than thou Eddie doesn't know how
No,
to.
is this
doesn't
on
know how to
YouTube?
burn the
Can you-
candle at four ends.
it's different for every app. But if you're on your phone, a lot of times just holding it down, like TikTok.
Oh my God! You
Reels,
just tap and hold.
it.
Yeah.
Speeds it
And
right
goes
up.
faster. It's
Really?
You
amazing.
got to go to settings on YouTube. Yeah.
On YouTube you can click and hold also.
Oh, if you're on your phone,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
No, I think even on the site you can just.
But if
click and
you would
hold.
have to hold the whole time though, and if you're watching like a 40-minute video that you just wanted to
but
be faster.
sometimes there are videos with like stuff in them that
You can
like,
skip through
like
the ad.
YouTube
You
videos.
can,
So, Miranda, do you enjoy our podcast more once you're editing it and you're listening to it at a higher speed than the actual
Oh, so much.
experience?
Oh my God.
We're inseparable, Ed. I don't think anyone in our audience. There might be like one sicko out there who listens to our stuff at 0.5 speed. There might be like one sicko in the Discord who's like,
I have to take notes. I have to.
Right, I want all three of them to sound drunker than they often are.
Is it possible, though, that like one of us is better at a faster speed and one is better at a slower speed? Like,
No,
maybe-
Eddie, we all
okay.
suck at this.
I mean,
You
I
need
think
to speed up.
I'm one of the
I listen to our podcast at regular speed. So,
Oh
you know,
wow!
there's-
All right, well, we're gonna have to get a bed for you in the home soon. It's your time has come.
Although, maybe with like how Zoomers were raised, maybe they'll slow it down and Edwin will reign again. No,
Yeah, who knows?
this
can't
would
be mean
solve.
to
I
young
have
Edwin.
too many podcasts, and I feel like it would solve that problem. Like, I'd probably just clear my queue a lot faster. But then what would
You
I
don't
do with
listen
my
to
life?
podcasts at high speed.
Never. Not once. I don't think
For me,
I
it depends. It depends on the podcast. If a
Yeah, if
podcast
it's
is going to have clips of music, if it's going to have anything like that, that's going to drive me crazy hearing it at double speed or 1.5. But if it's just people talking, I find most people talk too slow, myself included. Like
Yes.
listening to
Yeah,
myself back, I'm like,
likewise.
God, was I talking that slow?
I
Back when
like
I
the
used-
You sound like I should be put into a home. Like,
It
I like
sounds
the
like
normal.
you're not really. It sounds like you're not really listening to it. Like when I'm listening to a podcast, I'm trying to extract information, unless it's car talk and I'm using it to lower my blood pressure. At which point, yes, play it at regular.
No.
speed,
I'm
'cause
listening
that's
to
the point.
drown out the voices in my head. I just can't.
Also
Oh,
good.
I
Also
mean,
good,
honestly,
yeah.
faster might be better then because, he who speaks first speaks best.
Blurst, right?
And
I think
so
it's
if
blurst, Miranda.
you're
It's
probably
blurst.
right, but if you can get
Yeah.
the podcast talking faster than the voices in your head, the podcast will win.
He who speaks first speaks cursed.
Ooh.
He who speaks last gets passed on
Okay.
the highway in the right lane.
Anyway,
So
Chapter-
chapters 11 and 12.
11 and 12. So where do we leave off? Honestly, it is weird because it's a weird momentum shift where we just left off with this like hyper serious emotional moment with Rachel confronting her own capacity for violence, and then it's like, want to use that violence? Want to go play with shiny toy? Want to smash up a building? Like,
It's like a Wreck-It
Shall
Room.
we,
This is like the Wreck-It Room
Yeah.
section.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I think it's
true.
good for all of them. There's no indication that any of this is unhealthy or bad for the Animorphs.
No,
No,
right?
certainly
no.
not.
It seems like they're all making choices from an emotionally sober place where they're grounded in. We got to start because I have so much to say.
Well, sometimes
All right.
Marco's just grounded, but
That's true. In just last book, too. But I think this is actually the optimal state for 12-year-olds. I think we should be trying to recreate these conditions with more choice.
Yeah,
you think-
like
so you
we should
think
be like
no
submerging
sleep-
them in water,
Yeah.
and no sleep, and dunk. Make sure to dunk, and then have a dolphin throw them back up into the
Yeah.
air.
this is just like
Yes.
Navy SEALs training, and that's where we should be sending our 12-year-olds.
My
You
theory
guys,
is that
everyone
there's...
is freaking out that you haven't read the description.
Okay,
like
okay.
I mean, I don't know that I care. I just I feel like I have to speak to it.
Okay.
Like we can keep going.
No. And I'll catch you
no,
up on
it's
what
a-
just happened as I read the description for chapters
This
11.
is going to be this
For chapters 11 and 12?
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those
Cursed
lead-ins
episodes?
that this is going to be one of those cursed episodes.
Yeah.
It really is. All right.
I'm feeling it.
Here we go.
The gang is ready to infiltrate the meeting of the world leaders at the Marriott Resort. The reader knows that Rachel is excited about Jake's outrageous and violent plan, a far less
that's
subtle
right.
attempt than last time. But not much else. The kids are keeping us in the dark. The gang stops at the gardens to acquire new morphs for Tobias, Cassie, Marco, and Axe, though we're not told what those morphs are. Just that these morphs are capable of withstanding handgun bullets and making a big mess. That's concerning, actually. Then it's off to the resort. A storm arrives as the kids approach the coast, churning the waves and filling the sky with lightning. The wind is too much. And so the kids, all in seagull morphs, have to land in the ocean to switch to dolphins. To get to dolphin morph, however, the kids will have to transition through human morphs in a very rough sea. Popcorn quicks!
Whoa, me? Cassie morphs to dolphin first so that she can help the others make the transition. Rachel narrates. It made sense. Cassie was the best in morphing. Jake was using her for her special talent, like he used Marco for his suspicious mind, like he used Axe for his knowledge of all things alien, like he used Tobias for his raptor eyes and ears, like he used me. For what? For my recklessness? For something dark that lived inside me? As Cassie demorphs to human, Rachel panics, believing that her best friend is drowning. She knows that Cassie is the fastest morpher, but she also knows that in her human form, she isn't the strongest swimmer. Oh, that Cassie isn't the strongest swimmer, and that Rachel is a much better swimmer.
Rachel is the strongest
You'll
swimmer,
see.
yeah.
Yes, God, pronouns are confusing.
Yeah.
Rachel demorphs and tries to save Cassie. Though, by that point, Cassie's already a dolphin. So Dolphin Cassie's kind of like, what the fuck? Ends up saving Rachel instead.
It's true. She was swimming the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else successfully morphs to dolphin. The gang is all high on that good dolphin energy as
Hell
they approach the
yeah!
Marriott. Though Rachel's human mind returns when she recalls that once they reach their destination, they won't be dolphins anymore.
And that's going to be sad.
they'll turn into humans on the beach.
Stupid
And
humans.
Yeah, stupid humans. Stupid humans.
This is kind of scary. Very scary, dark, violent ocean. And it kind of feels like the climax to a different book, but it's actually just the middle stretch here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're getting an interesting pacing because we have to wrap up this plot to be able to address David completely.
Yeah.
And it really is, I don't know, did this feel right to you guys that like the president plot that we're moving towards, like we're approaching what feels like a zenith here. We're ratcheting up this energy. And we're going to see in the next chapters how this all comes to pass. But it does feel like a sleight of hand, like the MacGuffin of the Marriott and all the heists and all the research and all of that ended up meaning nothing.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna we're about to go nuclear here.
Yeah.
I'll save that commentary for a little.
It feels like
later
the
on.
wrong lesson is being learned here, which is that less planning is better.
Yeah. Although I
Yeah.
will say they had to
Well,
pivot on their
truck ship,
plan. Truck ship, yeah. They had to pivot on their plan because they couldn't do what David was expecting. And while they know David was listening in on their planning, even if they'd set a wildly different plan, like if they'd said anything too outlandish, he might have realized they were trying to throw him off the scent. I don't know. They just didn't want David to be where they were going.
They just had to
be.
move quick.
Yeah.
They were like, if we move quick, nobody will know what's happening. We got to do this tonight.
Yeah. I do want to think about, as we read these next chapters, something I was very confused about is, what does success look like for this mission? Because it's very hard to know when the mission has been accomplished. Yeah.
Why don't we all?
I think
we all take a stab at it? When we give us, Miranda,
I think
give us your take.
prior to now, their goal was much loftier. They had ambitions that they might expose the Yeerk plot.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But now their goal is simply stop the world leaders from being Yeerked.
Yes.
Okay, that's really good, Miranda. That seems very reasonable. Eddie, can you give me something a little less reasonable?
Well, I would say destroying the Yeerk pool, but we've already passed on that opportunity. So I think what we're looking for is we got to scare everyone, and we're just waiting for one person to say, that's it. This summit meeting is canceled, and we won't be able to call off the mission until we hear someone say that.
I think that's it. I think we're waiting to hear those words, and we won't stop causing mayhem until that exact phrase is uttered.
Yeah.
It's like, if they say postponed, we can't leave.
No, they have to cancel. Hard cancel. Everybody's going home. We're not rescheduling.
We're not making peace in the Middle East.
No, it shrimply won't happen.
Or what if we hear specifically Visser 3 said, okay, we can move the summit meeting, but we're not going to be able to do the Great Yeerking. The Great Yeerking is canceled.
I think if he said that out loud, they'd have accomplished their original goal of outing Yeerk.
And what if the president is like, that sounds reasonable, although I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what some of those words mean.
He's probably Visser 3 is having a Devil Wears Prada kind of moment here, as Tony relative to the president. He can taste the power he will someday have.
Yes.
And yet he's probably just getting into the idea of impressing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a while since there's been somebody above him enough that can give him that validation he's so desperately craving.
And the council never returns his calls.
That's true, yes. I think I have an alternate casting for our musical. If we cannot get Snake from Degrassi to play Visser 3.
For Visser?
Yes. Well,
what?
Oh, sorry, I've already decided. Yes, but if we can't get him.
I thought he was playing Chapman.
Oh, that's true. Yes, you know what? I'm getting my villains confused.
That's okay, it's okay.
But Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci would be a wonderful Visser 3. I do think he has to be
I definitely think the Stanley Tucci Tony morph for sure.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Is he Stanley Tucci all the time? I don't know. But while in Tony morph, I think yes.
Yes.
I'm realizing I don't know who Stanley Tucci is.
Well, you do because you've seen...
He was in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yes, yeah.
I've never seen The Devil Wears Prada.
This is like me setting up... What did I try to riff on without... the ultimatum.
Uncommitted? What was the ultimatum?
I have seen... That's true. I have seen The Devil Wears Prada in a combined 7 sittings. I think Dad likes that movie.
Yeah, he does.
When I was visiting home, I've seen basically every part of it at a different time, but I don't have a sense of the whole arc.
So to talk about the book a little bit,
please.
To bring us back, I did.
Miranda, why you got to bring me back to this depression?
I know. Tobias still hates water, which is something that we have had him say in other books, and so I enjoyed seeing that thread continued. But I also really enjoyed Rachel's introspection about what it was Jake was using her for, and was it her recklessness?
Yes.
Was it her darkness? Was it her what? And then her recklessness, one of the things she pitched as being what Jake might use her for, almost gets her killed. Because she has an emotional reaction to not seeing Cassie resurface. She tries to morph to save her, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's talking about a lot of the tension in this book for her is, what if what I do doesn't work? I mean, that's not the spoken tension.
Oh, do you think?
But
wait, are you saying that she was doing that in an effort to do something other than barrel at the enemy, to be supportive of her person?
No,
she was becoming try-hard? No, okay.
No, not at all. I think she was illustrating what Jake does use her for and what Jake doesn't use her for. Sort of
got it.
She was saying, does he use me for these things? And then she was making a case where he didn't ask her to do that, and in fact explicitly asked her not to do it, and it was a liability, showing that Jake really does understand how she will behave.
Yes. Yeah. And I think we are supposed to be losing faith in Rachel's capacity to make the right decisions. I think we're supposed to be questioning, because we just had her say she loved how violent this plan was.
I think that's a good point.
You're probably right, but I never doubted her.
I think
that was completely lost on me.
It's building to something. So I'm going to put a pin in this. I think it's building towards a moment that happens at the end of this stretch, at the end of this episode. I think we're supposed to be questioning, even if maybe you, Chris, or the audience isn't losing faith in her. The other Animorphs are starting to question, is Rachel...
Or she feels that they are, yeah.
Yes,
She feels
exactly.
that they are.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure that they actually... I don't think that they gave up on... my little heart says none of them gave up
Totally.
on her.
I think
They
that
knew
is the most
exactly,
important
yeah.
thing, is that Rachel is starting to lose faith in the other Animorphs' ability to...
Perception of her.
Yes, their
Right.
perception of her. Yeah.
And she is
Sorry,
also
didn't mean to finish
concerned
your
about
sentence.
her own, like, she's worried about crossing her own lines and where they
Yes.
are and that they might be moving. So, which she will talk about later in the book. And so this is a
Blurred
moment.
even.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
This is a moment where where those lines are all shifting. And it's just a very, like, messy, like, emotionally entangled moment.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does make it more interesting we'll save this too, but I think it makes it interesting whether or not this mission is successful, because it's kind of, is the Rachel strategy sound? Can we use that, or should we be, yeah.
Well, and I mean, Jake did try and use it, which we'll talk about more, I think, later in the book.
Yeah.
There is something I want to hit here, which is just a nice little Chekhov's orca out of nowhere. We mentioned the fact that, wow, we're dolphins. We're so effing happy about everything. Only thing that could spoil my day is the one animal that eats dolphins.
Yes.
Right.
And I just you got to call it, because that is they literally got it in the nick of time.
Yeah, some ham-fisted foreshadowing.
Yeah. Thank God there's no orcas around. Yeah.
What would they be doing here?
Orca watch.
Yeah.
Definitely
When
not just
she's-
one.
When she's all disoriented, she describes herself as being in a vat of ink. And it's like such a depressing image. It's just so heavy. It's like that would kill you. I think swimming in a vat of ink would probably not be a good thing to do.
Chris, is your daily, your version of the fear of orcas, the dolphin fear of orcas, being immersed in
Just washing my hands.
a vat of ink? No.
I'm allowed to make that joke because it's me. I was going to say, being immersed in a vat of ink, I think I could. It depends on where that vat of ink is.
Yeah.
If you put it in the center of my bedroom and it's spilling out onto my books and stuff, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I am dying. Then I'll drown out of panic. But if it's you put the vat of ink in the middle of a field and I get to just try swimming around and there's a lifeguard nearby who also drowns, I'd be fine with that.
I think there's a whole
Die
element,
together.
a lack of control happening in this scenario.
In this situation?
No.
Yeah, this is not a happy vat of ink.
I do want to, just because I know we're getting close to time
go for
here,
it.
there's a description. I really like the descriptions here. I feel like because of where this is at in the book, and because we're not actually paying off all of the narrative, this feels like it should be the climax of the book, but it's not. And she gets to pace it differently, K.A. does, and she's very descriptive in these chapters, which is surprising because I feel like we had the quarry scene in what?
True.
Book 5?
Quibble in the quarry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a hole in the ground.
So we get this moment.
A gash.
Yes.
Yeah.
No gashes this book, as far as I.
No gashes.
true.
Yeah. Well, it's a Rachel book.
We get this moment where I'm just going to jump right to, you know what? Cassie's thought speak voice fell silent as she began to morph. I saw her only once in a 1-second burst of electric light. She was a twisting, misshapen mess of waterlogged feathers and skin with an eerie Halloween face. I heard her yelp in surprise, and when next the lightning flashed, all I could see was a human hand raised above the water. She's actually going to keep very close track
cool.
of the lightning and the storm. She's not going to forget about the storm through this whole stretch
And
of
the
chapters.
lightning comes back. You're right.
Yeah.
The lightning gets used to describe sort of the comic. Yeah. We'll get to that.
But I love Cassie having a Halloween face.
It was a real good one.
Yeah.
Shall we move to chapter 13?
Let's
Yeah.
do it. Take it away.
All right. The kids approach the shore as dolphins, trying to get as close as possible before demorphing. Security is tight, with searchlights panning over the water's surface, and so the Animorphs need to be extremely careful. Rachel tracks the searchlight for a moment, watching it disappear behind a tiny, desolate island, and comments on how the island makes her edgy. Surely that island won't come up again later. The gang demorphs in the rough surf as armed guards wearing night vision goggles stalk the beach. Then, the Animorphs morph into their most powerful morphs. Rachel, Tobias, and Axe into African elephants, Marco and Jake into rhinoceroses. Rhinoceri? rhinoceroses. The Animorphs storm the Marriott. If we couldn't stop the Yeerks by subtle means, Rachel says, we'd just tear the place apart. Get fucked. They mention that there's a submarine just offshore, and I feel like that's an odd note that doesn't get
And they
picked
said
up.
that they echolocated it, which bothered me because it's like, I think, like, so the way sonar works, ship make loud sound. Like, you just hear the sonar
it's supposed
from
to.
ships.
It's supposed to like.
Yeah, but that's a nitpick. That's a nitpick.
Do you know what? I couldn't help but think of the submarine from Megamorphs 2, which launches them back into time. And I was like, wait, are they remembering this submarine for a moment?
Good memory. I forgot all
But
about that.
it's so weird that it just doesn't come up again. And, like, I don't think it does, right?
We've had
I
that,
don't
and
think
we've
so.
had the invisible submarine, the glass submarine.
Yes.
Like the Lyran submarine. So, like, a lot of submersibles in this book, which I guess is because we're trying to do, like, Bond villain level. Like, did you ever see, was it The Spy Who Loved Me where they go to the underwater base?
I haven't seen a lot of Bonds.
They're not good, don't
If
worry.
I had to guess, that'd be Octopussy, but just because that one's under.
I can't believe I set you up for that. All right, moving on.
Is
Just because an octopus. Like,
Is the submarine there to show that they're aware of potential threats at a distance so that when something does
Probably.
pop up onto their but it's just not a great way of priming that, I think, if that's the
I
reason
don't know.
it's there.
Maybe one of the leaders came by submarine.
It must
just
be.
parked
It must
there.
be that, because if they could just see the submarine as a threat, then they could just see the orca a mile away. But it's like I just have a tough time believing. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think to me the effect that it had on me was that it was just trying to show how much effort the government was into securing this location.
Yeah.
Like, it was just an extra layer of that, but I don't know.
Yeah. I did miss Cassie in the description. I think she's also an African elephant.
Yes.
Rachel Tobias acts. Why is Marco also a rhinoceros? Like, why is... Yeah, how did they decide?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys really don't know?
No, I don't know. Please tell.
It's because of all his horny jokes.
I was about to say, is this a horny?
It's
is
like
this
really,
a horny
it's
thing?
really like,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to say
no,
it,
you're
but-
right though. He was setting him up. He was setting himself up for more joke material with the rhino than he was with the elephant.
And I really do think he picks the morphs for the joke, which is why he's the gorilla. Because, like, imagine a gorilla doing an hour of stand-up comedy on HBO. That's hilarious, inherently.
Yeah. Reading the description of their approach here, I cannot, speaking of Bond bases, Chris, I feel like I imagine this Marriott as, like, there's a giant stony cliff is how I imagine it, even though it doesn't say this. It's just a beach. But, like, I feel like these searchlights, like, I feel like this is a fortress up on a...
It is weird.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
It's so dramatic. And the searchlights are nuts. Like...
And it seems like a walled compound, too. Like, they have to, like, bust in. Like, it's very strange.
Yeah.
It is very strange. Part of me is like, all I can picture is, like, you know, a Marriott at, like, the beaches I went to growing up. And, like, I'm just like, well, it's just, but I mean, they have these, like, cottage islands, you know, or whatever.
Well, that's the
These
thing. I was trying to
cottages,
picture, like, there's, like, if you go to Disney, they have a lot of resorts where it's like, here's where you book normal rooms, but you can see just down the way where the rich people book little cottages.
Yes.
And, like,
Yeah. It is kind of like that.
But this is a resort, too. It's not just and, like, I feel like the most Marriotts I've been to were just hotels, not, like, hotel resorts where, like, they had beachfront access or they had, it's like, I've never been to one like that. So maybe it's just extra fancy.
This isn't just any resort, too. This is the Animorphs' last resort, trying to save the world here.
So true.
Yeah. They should make the Animorphs the last resort, the Game Boy game that would be this whole mission. That would have been a
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. For some reason, every time I, like, can't sleep, I, like, keep looking up making Game Boy games, and I keep thinking about, like, whoa, wouldn't that be cool if I had the free time? And then I'm like, Chris, you have a podcast. Like, get back to work.
Well, yeah.
Wait, so you're saying you want to cancel the podcast?
I want to cancel the podcast and ask our Patreon
do this as a Game Boy game
subscribers to fund
instead.
us to make the worst Game Boy game that ever existed.
Yeah. I don't have the book in front of me, but I think there's a moment where Rachel really puts herself in the perspective of one of these guards with night vision goggles. I feel like we get it's like a green planet. She really
Isn't that about to happen? I thought that was about to happen.
Is it not this chapter?
I don't know.
I think it is 14 where she says you almost had to feel sorry for the Secret Service and all the other.
Yeah, because I have stuff for that too. Should we just segue into that description?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Take it away. Well, you can also finish your thought. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, it's just it's funny confused. Because she's not seeing that, but it reads so it puts you in that perspective of someone seeing the world through night vision goggles. So, should we talk about the island? What is this island? Is she just thinking about building
Dude, I'm so mad about the island.
Just some rocks.
I don't even want to talk about the island.
Just some rocks.
Okay.
What would make you feel bad about it?
Yeah. It just makes me edgy.
It feels like the kind of thing where, like, at the end of the book, you're like, oh my God, it's the island. But it's like, come on, that was an incredibly arbitrary. Like, it's like only significant because it's arbitrary.
Maybe it's the island from Lost.
Okay. Also, we have this whole David problem. I know it's easy to forget because we're saving the world leaders.
Stop.
No. But we don't know where he can't stay in Cassie's barn forever. What if we build a little cottage for him somewhere? A bungalow, even.
Oh, and we get him a little cigarette boat.
Yes.
That he can take
perfect.
in and out.
Cigar boat. Yeah.
Cigar boat. Cigarette boat's even smaller.
What if we got him some sort of glass submarine and he just lived on that?
And then he's not in danger from the Yeerks. And he can just come and go as he pleases.
What if we put him in the time matrix and rewound him to a time when he wasn't such a douche?
Oh, it'd be a good time.
Yeah. If we put him on a glass submarine, he loves to hide. He's such a little scamp. He's always disappearing. Where would he go? He's on a glass submarine. We'd see him no matter where he goes. So, I think,
he'd hide in the nuclear reactor and it would be a self-solving problem. All right, let's move to 1415.
Okay.
Eddie, I believe it's you. Yeah.
This is Rachel narrating, you almost had to feel sorry for the Secret Service and all the other security guys on the beach, huddling in the rain beneath their ponchos while they gazed through night vision goggles. You were right. 1 minute's nothing but waves and lightning. The next minute, it looks like a small pod of whales has decided to get up out of the ocean and go hang out on the beach. I mean, their training must have prepared them for almost anything, but definitely not for the possibility that 2 rhinos and 4 African elephants would come trumpeting and snorting out of 100-year storm surf.
What are they snorting?
We have to read on to find out, Chris.
Are they party animals?
Oh!
All right, keep going.
Elephant Rachel charges into the guards.
365 party animal.
One of the guards opens fire at Rachel, but then flees. Jake reminds everyone that they must approach this mission with the assumption that all of the humans are innocent. Rachel says, "We were here to wreak havoc and scare the heck out of everyone, but not to hurt anyone on purpose." As more guards open fire at the kids, now with automatic weapons, Elephant Rachel and Rhino Marco begin smashing through the walls of various bungalows. They recognize one world leader inside one of the destroyed buildings, drunk and in his underwear, before moving on to sieging other buildings. Popcorn Chris!
The storm intensifies. The Animorphs continue their destruction. People in tuxedos and formal dresses run this way and that way as helicopters appear in the sky overhead. Rachel and Marco destroy yet another bungalow and find the U.S. president inside, playing Parcheesi by himself. Once reinforcements start sliding down the ropes, hanging from helicopters that the president had requested in his bungalow, Jake calls for a retreat. Tony, a.k.a. Visser 3 and Morph, blocks Elephant Rachel's way. She tries to chase him, but she is badly injured at this point, so she heads back to the shore into the water. Rachel narrates, "I was giddy. I was going to survive. I was laughing at the sheer, insane rush of it all. No weariness now. No sleep for the wicked. I'll never sleep again. Just mad, frantic glee at having escapade alive."
Wow.
All right. Well, that's certainly one take on that. So,
So we got to talk about Hannibal's crossing of the Alps. I think that's where we are in this book. Because when we talk about military preparedness to deal with elephants.
True.
We gotta talk about how the Romans just really didn't see it coming.
True. So Jake wants us to assume everyone we meet is an innocent human, but I don't understand how that really meshes with the plan of secure bulletproof animal morphs and just go stomping around. Like, I just feel like that's a pipe dream at this point.
Let he who is without morph kill the first human.
Yeah, something like that.
How many people do we think? So you don't know who's someone
Is
could be
morphing
leaning.
the original sin?
I think so. I think.
Wait,
that's
hold on, guys. I'm freaking out.
If
Keep
someone
going, baby. I'm
is
sorry.
leaning on the wall, so they're knocking down walls, ceilings are collapsing. You're telling me no one got hit by a stray brick, a beam that collapsed from these bungalows?
Talk about that. Talk about
That's
the
what they
straight
want to
brick.
say.
Yeah.
Talk about the freaking random ass machine gun fire that
That's
they're firing
very
around on
true.
this beach. Like,
Shooting at animals that are charging all over. Yeah.
and charging into the buildings where the people are.
Yeah.
And
I
then
wanna go where the
one
people
drunk man tries to uses the after you gesture, and Rachel follows it, and he now believes he has command of
Dude,
elephants.
That
He's going to
bit
get himself
was-
killed.
That bit was so good. He's gonna go to the zoo and be like, "Let me in there."
Yeah.
he's like Toro. But like when that whole scene happens and they bust into the bungalow and they're like, he had to be like, he was such a familiar. I won't say which leader of which country he was, but he was sitting there drinking his. What was he drinking? I forget. Some
what does it say? It
some
says
fine
something.
liqueur.
Yeah.
It says liqueur, and then it's like, and he was drunk, and
Yeah.
I mean drunk, and he's sitting there in his boxers, just like drinking himself into oblivion. Jockey shorts, I think. They say?
Yes, they say jockey shorts, and it's a bottle of clear liquor, so it could be vodka. They could be insinuating that this is.
Yeah. And so then, like, he's sitting there, the wall busts down with an elephant, a bunch of machine gun people come in the door to protect him, and he tells them to hold off.
He does.
And then, like, he's like, go. He makes the you should leave gesture or whatever, and then they leave. But it's like, that whole scene was so cute, and I'm also disturbed by like the drunk trope being in these books in the first
Yeah,
place.
it was definitely weird. It was an odd moment, and
The
they
books
say
don't
that
really talk about drinking ever.
No. Just Marco's dad hanging out on the
except
couch
those kids,
eating a few too many cheese puffs. That's basically
those kids who shot at Rachel at the beginning of
Yes, that's
book
a good
2.
They had beers.
Yeah.
You're
They
right.
had beer.
Yeah.
And there's a special ring of hell for people who litter beer cans in the woods
Yeah.
and shoot at birds.
Yeah.
So when they find the president, they say that security has formed a phalanx around him, and then they say it's 3 people. Do we think 3 people is enough for a phalanx?
No. And phalanxes are also phalanxes, whatever they're called. They're
Whatever
also
is-
like, aren't they a completely inefficient like structure that like basically was bad enough that someone came in and beat the Greeks into oblivion with it?
Isn't that the exact opposite of what happened, where the Spartans put
remember.
themselves shield to shield across a narrow gorge and beat
Well,
back
we
like
don't know.
10,000 Persians?
It could be. All I'm saying is I think like the phalanx is like a really. Why do I keep saying it different ways? Also, why did the door just open behind me? That was scary.
Okay, it seems like the official number is 8 men deep and any number of men wide. Huh. I mean, this is cool.
Oh, so that's 8 men.
Yeah.
Any
right?
number of men wide, that's 8. Yeah, so 8 men.
But that sounds to me more like a conga line than a phalanx.
Yeah, if you've only got it 1 man
Am I
wide.
wrong that that's what I imagined when I read that? It was a conga line? I think.
I will also say there's a moment I learned a word.
Okay.
So she says, I ran, slewed my head to the side, and slammed the wall with my right shoulder. SLEWED. I did not know
Yeah.
this usage of this word. It just means to move something to the side.
Well, and I think like slew rate, yeah, like there's what's slew rate? Now I'm curious. Keep going.
Well,
Yeah,
no, it's
slew
just,
rate.
I had never heard this word before used this way. I had heard a slew of something. It's like an archaic past tense of slay, also, I believe. But like I'd never heard it used in this. So this book is still teaching adults.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, do you
very
think this
educational.
word, we've had this conversation before, do you think this word was included for the purpose of introducing vocabulary? Or do you think KA just had that rattling around in her head, and she was like,
I don't know. It could have been a more common word at the time. Is the thing that's
what,
always
like
tricky about this, like Logie, yeah. And that's what's tricky when something's written 30 years ago. You're like, oh, I don't know if maybe people just said this. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, language has changed a lot in 30 years. Language has not changed a lot in 30 years.
Yeah,
like,
very true.
It's like as if, and I am still all that in a bag of chips.
That's true. I will also say there's just a quick little morphing housekeeping note. So she says, demorphing would save my life. The bullets should drop harmlessly away, but even if they didn't, all the damage they'd done would be repaired. And I'm like, okay, we've talked about this a little bit before. So it would be fully rejected out of the body no matter what she's saying. But even if it didn't fall away harmlessly, if it busted an artery or something, that would still be healed as they morphed. So
right.
bullet
that
will
makes
come out.
more sense than what I thought, which was that the bullets were living in them, which
forever.
I was like, that doesn't work. Yeah.
and this just, I think this gets tracked into the next chapter where we actually hear about the bullets falling away. This elephant that Rachel is morphed into goes through hell in this chapter. And for some reason, the violence here and the miserable state that this elephant is in, and how disconnected the kids always feel from the animals that they're morphing. For some reason, rereading this, it made me think about this, that this is kind of cruel to the elephant and not to Rachel, because the elephant brain, there's that kind of like double consciousness that happens when they're morphing. The elephant doesn't understand what's happening, but Rachel does. And she can slip into the elephant brain, but it doesn't seem like the elephant brain can slip into
Well, but if we're being
it
real,
can't turn it off.
Yeah.
if we're being real though, isn't it still Rachel who feels the pain? And they don't quite, they like kind of say brain and they use the word brain, I'm positive, but like they
seem to
kind
mean
of refer to it as
instinct.
instinct,
Yes,
which is kind of like,
But it does
kind
raise
of
this
this,
whole
like-
question of, is there an elephant and Rachel, or is it all Rachel? It's just a weird thing
yeah,
about...
you make a
Yeah,
valid
it's a
point.
good-
I just don't know if they're ever going to
It
produce
does
enough
remind me-
evidence
No.
either way.
It does kind of feel like Rachel and whoever's morphing is like their consciousness is almost entering this animal like a mech. I think this has come up before in the series that like they're kind of like piloting. Like there's the Rachel inside of the elephant, kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they've said the thing
well, there's
that
a
they
little
feel
bit
like
of Rachel in all of us. I think.
true. But I feel like basically they've said the biggest thing that makes them different is that this is a copy. They're not taking over a real animal with like a history and a life and like and things like that.
Yeah,
and so
but I mean, it's
that
a
elephant
Shippothesius thing, though, right? Like it's still a living elephant. It's just like
but
because
it's definitely
unrelated
not
to
what
that
the
other
Yeerks are
elephant.
doing, because the Yeerks are like taking one elephant over forever. Whereas they're essentially producing a new elephant to live a short, terrifying life each time. And oh God, that might be worse.
Yes, exactly. It's
Where did I come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's Anyway, moving
But Cassie
on.
would never, so that
chapters
solves that.
16 and 17.
Yeah, let's get to these chapters because I feel like we're going to want to talk about them for a decent bit. And if there's anything we missed, we could just...
This is going to be chapters 16 and 17 combined. Rachel and the others disappear into the ocean, briefly passing through their own forms underwater before morphing into dolphins. Rachel narrates herself coming down from the adrenaline into a state of depression, before the dolphin brain distracts her with its usual giddiness. When she fires an echolocation burst, however, Dolphin Rachel sees the dolphin brain's worst fear, a killer whale. Cassie observes something strange about this whale. It's traveling alone, not in a pack. Highly unusual behavior. Dangerous as it might be, Marco is confident that they can outthink it. It's not a human, after all. Tobias encourages everyone to approach a Coast Guard boat searching for the Animorphs along the surface. The sound of the propeller blades should scare the killer whale away. Only one problem. That isn't just any killer whale, but David in Morph. Popcorn Eddie.
Rachel remembers that David believes Tobias is dead, so she tells Tobias to hang back so that they can use this information to their advantage. Axe has an even better idea. Since David won't be able to tell the Animorphs apart in Dolphin Morph, one of them, with a more powerful morph, could sneak away and surprise attack David as that extra number. As long as 5 dolphins are present, David won't know if one of these dolphins is Tobias. Cassie sneaks off to morph into her own whale morph while the Animorphs distract David. Rachel taunts him, and David retaliates by calling Rachel a psycho.
That is you, right? Psycho Rachel? Quick note. Does that mean that they all sound the same? And like, it's like, if you can't recognize them,
I think so,
speak?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's no like auditory component. It's just like a vague voice in your
Rachel
head.
doing it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
That is you, right? Psycho Rachel?
I'm the psycho? That's good, coming from a certified nutcase like you, David.
I'm nuts? Hey, I'm not the one threatening to kill anyone's parents, you crazy witch!
I hate him.
Now all of the Animorphs know about what Rachel said to David. Rachel tries to cover for herself with a lie.
I didn't threaten your parents.
Yeah, you did! Did you know that, Big Jake? Did you know that, average-sized Cassie with all your moralizing? Did you know that Rachel threatened to kill my parents? How about you, Andeline? Of course, we know Smartmouth Marco would approve.
He hates Marco. No one
hates
says...
it.
He does. No one says a thing. No one comes to Rachel's defense. She narrates, I felt hollow all of a sudden, like I could feel their silence as a big hole in my insides. Who were they to be judging me? Which of them hadn't done things they were ashamed of? Was I ashamed? Was that what I was saying? Jake orders the group to attack David's eyes when he chases one of the others. David pursues Rachel, and she flees up towards the surface, shooting out of the water into the storm. When she falls back into the water, it appears that she will fall directly into David's mouth, but he's misjudged, already disappearing back underwater. When he tries to attack Rachel again, the others attack him. David still has the upper hand, though, and nearly defeats the Animorphs until Whale Cassie saves the day. As David flees, he warns Rachel that they'll meet again.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes out here. And also, like, heart-pounding, scary fighting. Mm-hmm. But I feel like their being parallel has, like, this really strong impact to me, because the moment when he calls Rachel out for threatening his family, it really felt like everything ground to a halt. Like, truly. Like, and they don't linger on it that long, actually. It's only a few lines of text, but, like, I could feel that in her as everything ground to a halt for her, and she lied for no particular reason and grappled with whether or not she was ashamed of what she was doing and whether or not they were ashamed of what she was doing, and feeling like Jake had made her do this. He knew she would do this, and he put her in that situation, and she doesn't have time to deal with any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with her lying, it is just like, this is why you have to have regular check-ins and stuff in general, just because it's like, yeah, she is starting to feel isolated. And thank God, like, she manages to keep it together through this fight and through, like, you know, I don't know, she doesn't do anything bizarrely random or self-sacrificing, and, like...
there's this whole weird privacy of what happened between her and David that the privacy is in part because Jake sent Rachel. He did. He encouraged Rachel to leave with David in that moment. And Rachel has this idea, which I think is correct, that Jake knew the kind of thing. He didn't know specifically what Rachel was going to say or do, but he knew Rachel would behave in a way that was somewhat predictable to him, but he didn't want to have to deal with it. He didn't go with her. So he's kind of complicit in this privacy, which just makes the whole thing weird because Rachel's dealing with the fact that Jake seems to have, because he could predict what she was going to do, and that means that that's typical of her. So it just is, it just creates these really weird conditions where she has this secret. Yeah.
Maybe it speaks to sort of the difference in, like, emotional proximity that Jake and Rachel have together versus, say, like, Jake and a Marco, whereas, like, Marco and Jake had that conversation next to that weird tree that was Visser 3 back in book 15.
Yeah.
And we don't get that before this. We don't get a moment like that with Rachel. She doesn't get a reset like that. Because it is actually kind of inconceivable to think that that moment happened. She goes after him and Jake doesn't follow up.
Yeah.
Like that is like he should want to know what happened in that conversation. He has an interest.
But nobody
in what
asks.
happened in
Yeah,
that
she says
conversation.
nobody asks. Not one person. She saw them all after that, and nobody asked her what happened.
Yeah.
And she felt like they all kind of knew what happened. And this is confirmation to her that they did all kind of know what happened. And I'm really interested in your framing it as an issue of privacy in the broader themes of violation that we see happen to Rachel. Jake put her in a position where something expected happened, and then David revealed that to everyone.
Yeah.
This actually very intimate moment that happened.
Yeah, that part like makes no sense to me that then works to be leverage. All that David can figure is that it will tilt Rachel.
It humiliates
But,
her.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's like, it shouldn't. Like,
No, it shouldn't, but he's gotten enough of a read. He's enough of a crafty little sociopath to have gotten a read on these people that they know she's the kind of person who would do that, and they've been okay with it as long as they haven't seen her do it. And he wants to force them to confront that they all know that this is the type of thing she's willing to do.
Right.
And it's so loaded and it's so charged, and he targets her.
Yeah. Well, he seems
Every
to
time.
he wants to isolate Rachel from the group. Like, that seems to be a goal of his, which in a weird way, did he want Rachel? Did he also predict that Rachel would follow him when he left? I don't know. I think he more seized that opportunity when it came, but he
I would
seems
say
to want
the
to
latter
get
too,
Rachel away from the group, right? Like,
I think that she just revealed herself as someone like because she is more impulsive. It's like there's no getting a wedge between Jake and Cassie, right?
No.
So it's like,
He thinks she's the crack that he can exploit.
yeah. Whose job was it to say something in that moment? Like, if it was anyone's.
I just can't believe nobody back-channeled her. It was Jake's job.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's who I would...
Even just a don't let him get to you. Even just a don't worry about what he's saying. Don't worry about it.
or literally, like, exactly.
Yeah.
Just
Because it
nothing
might
he's saying
honestly,
matters right now.
if they had jumped up and said, we believe her, that might have made her feel worse.
Yeah,
because she was
of
going to
course.
have to
Yeah.
explain that it was true.
Well, and part of what I think is the discomfort. So Rachel has this shame. I think she says that, right, in that paragraph. Like, it seems
She can't decide if she's ashamed.
Yeah.
She feels it, but she doesn't know if she should be.
And even if Rachel isn't sure, I do feel like the Animorphs, these kids have shame about the violence. They have a shame about who they've had to become in the Animorphs. Like, Cassie definitely has a version of that. Maybe it looks different for each kid, but I think part of the reason some of them aren't, and Jake definitely has shame. Jake likes to imagine himself. That's part of the reason he's putting this work on Rachel, is he has this like elevated view of how he deals with these things. And so he has shame about what Rachel did because he asked Rachel to do it. Like, he asked Rachel to be
essentially.
this. Yeah.
But she's not seeing any of that. And in this moment, she's seeing him as so hypocritical because he's not coming to her defense in any way, and he sent her there.
Yeah.
Which is why you got to have the personal check-ins. It's like, you can't just assume that someone knows what their thing is, or that when you say something in jest, it's like, you should just never... Yeah. That's how you get these fissures in this
But
group.
when
That's how you
you're
don't
12,
win Survivor.
When you're 12, what do you know how to say to them? Do you know to reach out and say, whether it's true or not doesn't matter, I'm supporting you in this moment and continuing. We will talk about what happened later. We have to do this now.
It's kind of an interesting point about Jake as leader, right? Because it's like, the thing about being a leader is that, like, your will then speaks through the talent of the group. And, like, is that ethical? Is, like, only insofar as you have buy-in from your group, right? So it's like it's just, that's why it's his job, is because like,
he cannot ask Rachel to get her hands dirty and then be ashamed of the blood on her hands. Like, and that's how at the very least, that's how Rachel's reading this
Yeah.
moment.
And to Jake's credit, he does just move on. Like, yes, he doesn't say anything. Yes, he doesn't. But he doesn't, like, hold up. Like, the thing he decides to do is act like it didn't happen. And I don't think that's the most effective thing, but it is more effective than, like, stopping and trying to moralize to Rachel right now. Like, that obviously wouldn't work. Jake tries to keep them moving so that David's attack doesn't stop them in their tracks like it almost did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they end up doing very well in the fight. And the fight goes very well. And then
there's a moment in the fight I want to call out, though. And it's sort of about this same thing of her vulnerability and things like that. She has a moment where she realizes the way to get away from him is to slide underneath him belly to belly and get behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, the vulnerability of it, I mean, the imagery of it just struck me really hard, that, like, these same things we're talking about that could be talked about a lot of different tactics through many different lenses, and the invasion of privacy, and the fact that in order to, like, get herself out of this situation, she had to go belly up.
Yeah.
And put her most vulnerable places on display.
Well, and then not to mention, she jumps up in the air and leaves herself open to, like, landing in his mouth.
Yep.
Like, it's like she is the bait here. And
which she does take on herself, which he does sort of, well, Jake
Yes and
says
no.
somebody should act as a distraction. So it's not like she got baited by what he said. She was like, all right, he seems fixated on me. You want a distraction? I'll give you one.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's that simple, right? It's like, why was it her? Also, like, why are they in this thing? Like, because he's been harassing her for like a book and a half now.
Yep.
Specifically, like, gunning for specifically her.
Yeah.
And he does it again as they leave. Every time he calls her out specifically, it's like, I need to fucking take a shower. Like, it's so awful.
It's the grossest thing.
Yeah.
And that's like where we're trying to end this episode.
That's where we decided.
Like,
do you want to go take a shower? Should we regroup after the shower?
I think the microphone won't do well in the shower.
Okay, so we could check in. We finished a mission. You know, things got weird with David.
That's true.
But when did we know? Jake called this mission. He said, time for a retreat, and everyone seems to feel like it was a success. So when did we know? We didn't hear anyone say.
Yeah, it was...
That's true.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
didn't give us a clear...
I know what it was. On the Coast Guard boat was a newsie who said, extra, extra, read all about it. Prez calls off summit. Alien plot thwarted.
Thwarted.
I think that's what did
Thwarted.
That's going in the musical.
Oh, for sure.
Alien plot thwarted.
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon!